Welcome back to Macy's Parade Rank the Songs, where I rank the songs that have performed in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And for today, we resume back to the 2010s as we go into the year of 2012. A year had a couple of notable events. The Times Square's portion of the route, fully done, as it now goes directly after Columbus Circle to 59th Street all the way down to 6th Avenue. The second was a new host. After Ann Curry left NBC, Savannah Guthrie took over co-hosting the Today Show and joins Matt Lauer for 6 years, and without Rooker to the parade, still to this day. And third, it was a parade to all the Americans that were affected by Hurricane Sandy, which slammed through many of the East Coast states of this country. And with the benefit, the American Red Cross was a big participant in this year's parade by having the host, the volunteers, and the celebrities that are in the parade wearing a Red Cross pin. And speaking of celebrities, we got 26 songs here for the spirit of the holiday of Thanksgiving. This is my ranking of the songs of the 2012 Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Number 26, Silver Bells by Mannheim Steamroller. 2 years with Deck the Halls, and now the second year with them ending the celebrity roster, Mannheim Steamroller is back again for their third parade as they perform their rendition of Silver Bells from their 6th album, Christmas Extraordinary, as track number 7. Oh boy, where do I begin with this? I honestly felt sleepy when it comes to this rendition, especially the length of 4.5 minutes. I mean, they put the silver bells and like the city sidewalks or streets of street light part in one. It worked well for Deck the Halls, but not like this. If you thought that was worse, let me all tell you about the parade. Not only it was just short at a minute, but the performance started once we got back into commercial, and the only short period we had with them after the hosts were talking was like 10 seconds. I get that NBC was in a heap of time not to go over, but maybe I think this performance tells us why there should be more or less commercials during the televised event. Number 25, Brokenhearted by Carmen. Before she became Queeve Herbie, and before they became a married couple, since college, Amy Renee and Nick Noonan became a pop duo called Carmen. On their third year, they released their third and last extended play album, Hello, and the first song that was released a single before the EP was out that would become track number 2, Brokenhearted. Uh-oh! I feel like we're coming into another issue. First, the song feels generic. Second, the parade sped up the tone of the song for their performance. But the biggest thing is why they gave Nick a mic, because if you have listened to the song, I only hear Amy throughout the entire song. She's even like the backing vocal instead of both of them. So this is more of Amy's song instead of both of them, which is why she went on to become her alter ego artist name, Queeve Herbie. Number 24, Santa Claus is Coming to Town by Rachel Crow. From an actual contestant on Brain Surge, to be in an episode on Big Time Rush, and then as an actual cast member for 8 episodes in Fred the Show, Nickelodeon star Rachel Crow, also a singer, performs her rendition of Santa Claus is Coming to Town as track number 5 from Nickelodeon's compilation album, Merry Nickmas. I will give it this. You basically take the music of the style of Brokenhearted, but in a Christmas theme, and you get this rendition, which this is one of the weaker renditions of the song by comparing to the Stage Door Mana performance back in 2009 and the next 3 ones that we'll be seeing in future episodes. This is more for kids rather than adults, and I would say that there was one other Nickelodeon star from that year's parade would have made more sense on the Doris Christmas Carol Adventure float, but we'll talk about her later. Number 23, Home by the PS22 Chorus. Originated from Staten Island, New York, 5th grade music teacher Greg Brunberg leads a group of 5th grade students from the PS22 school. Since 2000, he has been bringing his students for some notable events. For any movie award show viewers, they performed Over the Rainbow at the end of the 83rd Oscars in 2010. And now 2 years later, these 5th grade students are in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade by performing Philip Phillips' hit song, Home, which was a radio hit throughout the time I was listening to this on the school bus. Both the versions I've listened to were on the official PS22 Chorus YouTube channel and in the parade. They're both great in their own ways, but I prefer the one on their channel mainly because of having Greg on the piano instead of the guitar, and it's more of a calmer version. While the one on the parade is a little upbeat, but still pretty good on its own merit, it's just being a parade exclusive is the one thing which makes sense on not having the group from all the years of having any albums is understandable. By having these students getting their experience brings in one of the best moments of their lives. And although I mentioned their covers for their YouTube channel, it can't go any higher because YouTube doesn't count. Rules in the description below. Number 22. Squeak, Chica by the cast of the Sunny Side Up show. Sprout, or as I know it as PBS Kids Sprout, was a 24/7 preschool station. It will later become the Universal Kids channel as of today. On weekdays, the morning program block was called the Sunny Side Up show, led by one of the 4 hosts, which at the time were Kelli, Sean, Denisha, and Carly, and the chicken puppet that squeaks named Chica, as she managed to get her own spin-off show in about 2 days after Thanksgiving. And to celebrate her own series, the cast of the show, minus Denisha, along with Chica's parents, all performed a song that was heard during a promo of the Sunny Side Up show, Squeak, Chica. Of course, there is no digital version of the song, so this is another parade exclusive. And unlike the original one from the promo, I prefer the one in the parade because there's more enthusiasm of the song, especially having Chica's parents with her. With Denisha unable to make it for her performance with the cast, Kelli did her lines, which seems odd when you tell it's not her voice. I mean, Nina from The Good Night Show was on the float with them, why can't she do it? Oh wait, the intro credit of the broadcast said the cast of Sprout's The Sunny Side Up show, not the cast of Sprout. Number 21. Lady Be Good and Swonderful by the cast of Broadway's Nice Work If You Can Get It, featuring Matthew Broderick and Kelli O'Hara. Returning to the parade since his performance back in 1995 with the revival of How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, and with her first parade, both Matthew Broderick and Kelli O'Hara star in the Tony Award-winning musical Nice Work If You Can Get It, set in the late Roaring '20s, as 2 numbers were played of the songs of George and Ira Gershwin, a dance number, Lady Be Good, which the orchestra takes the stage in terms of the song that begins Act 2, and Broderick and O'Hara's number, the second to last number of Act 1, Swonderful, or as Matt Lauer calls it, S-Wonderful. So I've mentioned how many times when some Broadway performances focus more on the choreography more so than the lyrics. This is a prime example, and unlike some of the other musical numbers I have talked about before, these 2 numbers makes me sleepy. Yes, if you're just listening to the ones on the cast recording album, you make me want to go to sleep real quick, because there's less lyrics in Swonderful number, which is 6 minutes by the way. So basically the parade definitely does it better by singing the dance, but I gotta ask, what was the purpose of Lady Be Good instead of just Swonderful on its own? Then again, I can see why this musical did receive some mixed reviews. Number 20. This Kiss by Carly Rae Jepsen. When I heard that Carly Rae Jepsen was going to be in this parade, I was ready to get annoyed because I thought at first glance that they were going to have her perform her hit #1 song and probably the song of 2012, unless if it is Gangnam Style, Call Me Maybe. One of the most overrated songs of all time. But no, instead from her second album Kiss, that does come with Call Me Maybe, she instead performs her 3rd single hit, This Kiss, which is track number 2 on the album. This feels more like a sequel to Call Me Maybe. Not annoying, but still gives you that song's vibes in this. I mean, it's now more about exciting to see your love, and especially if what has to be your first kiss. I get it's the dance pop song, but you don't dance to it. I mean, no, not really. Almost because it's close to being at 4 minutes is the actual song. At least it only takes like 85 seconds to make it more simple for the parade. And I can see why this song choice, because the song did fail successfully on its single release because it couldn't top Call Me Maybe. If They did do that song of 2012 in the parade. For me, it would have been a lot lower in the list. Not last, though. Number 19. The Story of Buddy the Elf by the cast of Broadway's Elf. Unlike some Broadway musicals, Elf was brought back as a revival only a year and a half after the original closed in the beginning of 2011. This time with a new cast, minus some that did reprise their roles, and this time they started the song roster and the Broadway acts by performing the fourth number in Act 2, if you do not count the orchestra entrance, The Story of Buddy the Elf, which is proposing an idea, a book, about Buddy. Obviously, the song is not as good as Sparkle, Jolly, Twinkle, Jingly back in the 2010 parade, but let me tell you about the original version of The Story of Buddy the Elf. In the original Broadway version, the kid who played Michael sang so high pitch of Buddy the Elf. I understand the actor who recorded that was a kid, and even the original Buddy, just for the song, didn't fit well either. The 2012 revival does it better. Although it's interesting, I don't think the singing of Buddy in this one doesn't work either. But the rest of the ensemble, the whole atmosphere, did it so much better than the original. Only catch is that there is no cast recording album of this revival, since the original Broadway one was released a year ago, months after the original Broadway production closed. Which is unfortunate that these actors on this revival don't get the spotlight of the song in a digital format. Number 18. We Will Rock You by Jimmy Fallon and The Roots. For their third time after a year off, NBC's late-night host Jimmy Fallon and his band The Roots returns on the new Gibson guitar float, since they were in the first version back in their debut in 2009, go rock all in by performing Queen's classic hit We Will Rock You, along with some Varsity Spirit cheerleaders from the opening pre-parade act at the beginning of the broadcast. First Drake and Josh, now Jimmy Fallon and The Roots brings this song to the Macy's parade, then later in one of my favorite scenes in the movie Bohemian Rhapsody that I prefer over the original version. A really fast-paced version on getting all three of the main lyrics into this was just spot on. Only thing is, why give Drake Schroeder a freestyle there? Sure, to give Fallon a break, but it didn't work well, and the drumming was off, and the cheerleaders were unnecessary. Number 17. Bad for Me by Megan and Liz. Twin sisters Megan and Elizabeth May started beginning by doing some song covers on YouTube, and after they graduated high school, they officially became selling artists with albums for both pop and country. With them winning Macy's iHeartRadio Rising Star contest, they got to perform at the parade by singing the title pop song of their third album as track number 1, Bad for Me, as well as being their debut single. Only thing about this song is that sometimes I might not go back to listen to this. It's not forgettable, but I think this is one I wouldn't jam a lot to. If I was 12, maybe, but now at 23, no. However, it is definitely one of the more underrated teenage girl power songs, just to show how modern pop is a bit refreshing for us to give us a stronger song in this Amy Kuehl era of the parade by all means. Number 16. I Found You by The Wanted. Released as a single this month before being track number 4 of their third album, Word of Mouth, 5 guys from across the pond, British-Irish boy band The Wanted performs I Found You. The album would later get mixed reviews, but hey, you know when there's a good song that gets a single hit, you know there's one that I would like, and here it is. This style is definitely the continuous way of the modern boy band style that is good. I mean, the way how they have their pitches up so high for their main verse is very unique, unlike any other boy band has done, just for this song alone. I will say it is interesting for the parade to have the 3 members re-record the verse for their opening phrases of the song, and just use the audio for the song for the main verse. It's kind of odd. Although the band would reunite again in 2021, it was unfortunate that one of their members, Tom Parker, sadly passed away on March 30th, 2022 from complications from a brain tumor at the young age of 33. Number 15. Great Balls of Fire by Chris Isaak. Starting off the celebrity roster in the parade is well-known rock and roll country singer Chris Isaak. Brings back the classic 50s, 60s songs by well-known artists like Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash, Roy Orbison, and performs one of Jerry Lee Lewis's songs, Great Balls of Fire, from his 11th album, Beyond the Sun, as track number 4. The echo of the song does bring us back to the old good days of that era of music, and the album and the parade have different audios, but still keeps the same style of the song. Both versions of the song are good in their own, but with the parade going a little faster, I can't really decide on which is better. I might think I would choose more so than the parade, because like the other years where I skipped the Broadway ones, this was the first song I go to when revisiting this year through the VHS I recorded. Number 14, Tree of Life by Thurza Defoe. This explanation is going to be a little bit short because I tried researching on who Thurza Defoe is, but her being independent on herself is very respectful, but she does have a Grammy and performs the exclusive song for today's parade for the spirit of Thanksgiving, Tree of Life. Thurza really is a good singer here, and even keeping her native spirits for this day of thanks. For The Life We Live On, Under the Tree, the chorus was great, although the drumming was out of sync, and I like all the lyrics. It's just being exclusive, it's kind of tough to get higher on the list. Number 13, Santa by the Book from Macy's Yes, Virginia the Musical by Stage Door Manor. In their fourth and final year, the kids of Stage Door Manor caps off the parade for Santa's arrival as they perform a song from Macy's brand new stage musical, Yes, Virginia, with songs written by Wesley Watley and William Skimmerhorn, by having this musical performed by school students across the country, part of the Macy's Believe campaign. I believe there was a version by Macy's themselves, with Whoopi Goldberg playing, I believe, the librarian / narrator, because the number, Santa by the Book, performed by Goldberg, here in this parade, it's Stage Door Manor's turn to welcome the big man in red to end the parade and the broadcast. I do think this was a great conclusion to wrap up the 2012 parade. The great pacing of the song does so much better than the original, which you can listen to the original one from that features Goldberg on Skimmerhorn's SoundCloud page. It's much more faster, then calmer because of the students, and with the escorts of the balloons, Charlie, Kit, and CJ, and then Santa's arrive with more of the kids of Stage Door Manor on the float finishing the song, and the confetti acting like snow just brings a perfect conclusion like the 2009 parade. But as soon as they finished, the host didn't really have a proper goodbye, and we didn't even got to know how was Savannah Guthrie's first parade. And although she was in the Jolly Polly pirate ship float, I would have preferred Whoopi Goldberg to join with the kids of Stage Door Manor to perform the number, since she was the one who did sing the number. I don't know which conclusion is better between 2009 and 2012, but they are some of the best conclusions in the modern era of the Macy's parade, and it's thanks to Stage Door Manor for their 4-year journey at Macy's. Number 12, American Pie by Don McLean. Last year, Neil Diamond on the South Dakota float performs his song that you heard in many America events with his song America that actually got number 1 in my 2011 ranking. Now it's Don McLean's turn performing his 36-year-old classic, which is track number 1 of his second album from 1971 and what is to be his most popular song, American Pie. I don't need any explanation of this song. It's a classic, and this song has a bit of a history on why he wrote it. For one of the main reasons, if you know what the lyric, the day the music die means, and it's one of the songs you can sing along with, and one of the greatest, longest songs that works so well nearly at 9 minutes. Of course, you can't do it all in a span of 9 minutes because of time, but his performance here is why he's a little bit lower on this ranking. Fair enough for him to re-record it for the event, and I get it, he was 67 at the time, but a couple of lip syncing and guitar syncing fails, and I don't know which portion of the songs he did, and the music seems more louder than his voice. Number 11, Impossible, It's Possible, Cinderella Waltz and 10 Minutes Ago Reprise by the cast of Broadway's Cinderella. No, not the Disney film, but Rodgers and Hammerstein's musical of Cinderella that was a TV movie in 1957, then later a 1997 TV movie starring Brandy and Whitney Houston, and I believe I saw this musical's adaptation in my local community theater league when I was a kid, that I didn't want to go to, by the way. It finally comes to Broadway, set to be open on March 13th, 2013. To prepare for anyone who wants to go see this Rodgers and Hammerstein's musical, they do a medley of 4 numbers. Impossible and It's Possible with our title character, or should I say Ella, and the fairy godmother, or should I say Marie, the dance number Cinderella Waltz, and the reprise number of 10 minutes ago with Prince Topher, so we do get a name for him instead of just Prince Charming, Ella, and the ensemble that ends Act 1, which are tracks number 7, 9, 11, and 12 in the cast recording album. Yeah, 4 numbers in a span of 3 minutes. Although I would say that's ridiculous of having 4 numbers to perform, but it worked well in the execution of the parade, especially the reprise of 10 minutes ago in a modern format. Even some of the costumes, I love the Cinderella dress. It feels like I want to marry that Cinderella character. Probably the Impossible and It's Possible number should have been taken out and just do the actual 10 minutes ago number, then the waltz, then the reprise. I still prefer the 1993 performance of the New York City Opera's production of Cinderella's of 10 minutes ago, because both of the characters, which are Cinderella and Prince Topher, are actually singing. I just think having 4 numbers is a bit too much. At least they're not long numbers. Number 10, Wish You Were Here by Cody Simpson. No, it's not the song from Avril Lavigne that was performed in last year's parade. This Wish You Were Here was the actual "you" in its title, is by the new rising young Australian artist named Cody Simpson, performs his second single hit from his debut album Paradise as track number 6. I feel like comparing to this song with Avril Lavigne's song is a bit hard too, because they might be love songs, but this one's more primarily one about a girl, because you know that's how pop songs about girls were during the early 2010s. It does have a catchy main verse and easy to sing along to, not much in the other lyrics though, and for the parade, it wasn't a good set of what portions of the song they use. And for me, the way how Cody's mic was set seems weird to me, unlike Zendaya's last year on the Build-A-Bear Workshop float. And this song does come with a feature artist, which was Becky G, who actually co-wrote the song along with Teo Cruz. And as always, it's hard to get both artists to perform the same song in the parade. Number 9, I Cry by Flo Rida. Tamar Dillard, well known as Flo Rida, had been in his career as a hip-hop rapper recording artist since the beginning of this century. It wouldn't be until 2008 where he would get his first album, now with his 4th album, Wild Ones. He combines Bingo Players' Cry, Just a Little, and Brenda Russell's Piano in the Dark, performs track number 8 on the album that got a single release, alongside with Stacey Reagan as the female backing vocal instead of the original backing vocal, Kelli Lee, that you hear in the parade, I Cry. Both the album and the song have received mixed reviews, and some say that Sia Fuller should have been a featured artist in this song like his title album song, Wild Ones. As you can see, I enjoy this. Flo Rida's rapping is so good with the type of music he used from Brenda Russell and combines some of the lyrics of Bingo Player's song works so well. A great mixture, although I have not listened to neither song that Flo Rida was inspired to make this song. The parade is a bit too quick, and I think they should have just added the I just look up the ceiling, I know it's all better now verse should have been added. And I did like how they used the camera during Flo's rapping. Now, Stacey is no stranger to singing with Flo Rida. They did perform this song later in Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest to welcome 2013 at the Party in Hollywood, and various other live performances of other songs. It would have been easier to have her recorded Kelli Lee's part for the parade, so we can actually listen to her real voice. Number 8, Christmas in the Sand by Colby Calais. For those in the Southern Hemisphere during Christmas, it's summer for you over there, while it's winter up here in the Northern Hemisphere. Ever want to have a Christmas song that's in the summer, or even during Christmas in July for us up here in the North? Well, other than the Beach Boys, Colby Calais has that answer with her single track and track number 3 of her 4th and first Christmas title song album, Christmas in the Sand. It does give us that Beach Boys vibes in a modern, calmer way. It makes you really want to stay warm by the fireplace or outside if you live in the Southern Hemisphere. No snow, no ice, no getting sick from the cold. Just relaxing your time in a warm climax. Maybe there's a section of the song that should have been taken out and one added for the parade, and maybe a bit more upbeat. It's more of being a Pennsylvanian having snow during Christmas time kind of makes me jealous, but not because snow is an aspect for Christmas for me. Number 7, That's What Christmas Means to Me by Jeanette McCurdy. The day after Thanksgiving was the series finale of the Nickelodeon show iCarly was about to come to an end, and for the occasion, Jeanette McCurdy from the show performs in the parade of her rendition of That's What Christmas Means to Me. Before I begin, I know that McCurdy had a bit of a struggle during this time, especially she was one of the unfortunate stars that ended up on the Creator's Curse. With her struggling as an actress and the massive abuse she had from her mother, I do support on how badly she was treated. I am very curious if the Macy's Parade is one of her moments she wants to forget or not, which I will admit, she is a great singer here, and a song that you don't usually hear on the radio that often. But my biggest questions are why she was not in the Doris Christmas Carol Adventure Float because of the Nickelodeon connection. Instead, you went with Rachel Crow from Fred the Show, but I think she would probably now say Crow definitely belongs in that float. But also, why is this not on the Merry Nickmas album? So despite of me loving her rendition of the song, and she is a good singer, this is a parade exclusive, unfortunately. Number 6, A New Deal for Christmas by the cast of Broadway's Annie. 35 years after the original Broadway production, and 15 years later after its first revival, the classic story of one of the most famous orphan girls named Annie setting around Christmas comes back to Broadway for its second revival, starring Lily Crawford as the title character, who would later play as Little Red Riding Hood in Disney's film adaptation of Into the Woods in 2014, and longtime Australian theater actor Anthony Warlow makes his official Broadway debut as Oliver Warbucks, as the cast performs the second to last number of the show with A New Deal for Christmas. All of Annie's friends from the orphanage are getting adopted by friends of Warbucks after they arrested Miss Hannigan and her brother Rooster and his girlfriend Lily. One thing about the Annie musical that kind of confuses me is what numbers are not Christmas related and which ones are. With this number it is, but it doesn't have that Christmas feeling you get. One thing it does so well is great singing from the actors, mainly from Anthony as Warbucks. You can hear that opera aspect he had in his career added to this version of the character. It feels like his number, but then it's more of the ensemble. Annie doesn't really have a shine in this number, and there are some audio differences in both the cast recording album and in the parade, including the tap dancing, but it is a sweet and nice number nearing to conclude the show and the end of the storyline of Annie. Number 5. What I Am by the cast of Sesame Street. First appeared back in episode 4214 in 2010, Sesame Street debuted a brand new song, and Will I Am of the Black Eyed Peas joined with the Muppet cast of the show to sing What I Am, which is about pride in yourself. The song would actually win an Emmy in 2011, and a year later, the cast now performs it in the Macy's Parade. The original one from the show is good. I think that it's just the parade did it much better. I think it's just having the actual human cast singing, including Oscar at the beginning, having Cookie Monster having drumsticks on him, and also Murray's part, there's nothing I can't achieve, cause this is what I believe in. If Will I Am was with them, you get a mixture with the aspect of the parade, and you do get the full version of the song. It would be a great crossover performance, but don't you worry, we got a big crossover performance with them for next year's parade. Number 4, Everybody Talks by Neon Trees. If you were listening to the radio in 2012 and maybe 13, you know what this song is. Rock band Neon Trees' 2011 single hit that went bang on radio months later with Everybody Talks from their second album Picture Show as track number 3, which was mixed to okay reviews, but the song was a massive hit. I have sang this song a couple of times when it was on the school bus, minus the 4-letter S word that I did not know it was in. I thought it was just shh, but radio censored that because it was very quick. And there are some songs that we will see, like Avril Lavigne's Wish You Were Here with that word in it once. And we'll see a couple of explicit words throughout other songs that are in the parade. Not in the parade's broadcast, but that are actually in the main album or recording of the actual artist, that the song they would use in the parade. You get the idea. It's only less than 3 minutes, but it's so good and it's not so quick for you to restart the song. The parade unfortunately was quick. Even though we're going into commercial, they should have just added one more set of lyrics for their performance. Number 3, ABC from Zuzu Pet's Quest for Zoo by Kidz Bop. If you were a kid like myself, you might have seen commercials of a music group of kids called Kidz Bop, and yet you'd never think they would actually perform in the Macy's parade. Well, in 2012, here they are, as the members of the 2011-13 era, Charisma, Eli, Stefan, Eva, and Kalana, performs the Jackson 5's ABC that was in the movie Zuzu Pet's Quest for Zoo. I will admit, this is a great rendition of the song. I mean, each of the kids did a great job in each of the parts they actually sang. The music for their version worked so well as well. Only thing is that this is somewhat of a parade exclusive. Although the song is in the Quest for Zoo soundtrack, the Kidz Bop version is not in it, as this was recorded back in 2012, and the parade should have just let them finish since the song actually only had 16 seconds left. But the full version was fully uploaded on the Zuzu Pets' YouTube channel, but it's in the sound of a 2000s kids website, so that kind of sucks, because this rendition is so good. Number 2, Just Fishin' by Trace Adkins. 4 years after appearing in the 2008 parade with his popular hit You're Gonna Miss This, country star and national spokesperson for the American Red Cross, Trace Adkins, returns for his second parade with his daughter Trinity, performs his song from last year of his 13th album as track number 5, Just Fishing, which is about a father and a daughter just fishing together, and it's kind of like an ode to his daughter Trinity, even for the music video, which is really heartwarming. As Trace said in the end of the song, this ain't about fishing. It's more of a father-daughter scenario of just having them a good, calm time together in the great outdoors and teaching her new things to do. The lyrics are good but confusing sometimes. I mean, I did have to check to make sure they were correct, like, throwing back what we could fry, which I thought he meant fine, but nope, it's fry. Only thing is that the parade, they should have had the ending portion of the last two phrases of the main lyrics and had him say, this ain't about fishing, in the end. But the Thanksgiving spirit about family is right there in the song, so I can see why he or NBC chose this one. And a nice moment for him and his daughter Trinity to experience their second parade together. And my number 1 song from the 2012 Macy's parade is I Got You by the cast of Broadway's Bring It On the Musical. Based on the 2000 teen comedy film Bring It On, the franchise went bigger by going into a musical from Atlanta in 2011 to a US national tour through the remainder of the year into 2012, and then for a limited time on Broadway for the remainder of the year, with Lin-Manuel Miranda co-writing the music and lyrics with Tom Kidd and Amanda Green as the cast performs the encore number to end the show, I Got You. It's a shame that the show went short on Broadway, because it did receive positive reviews, even better than the original movie that the musical was based on, which is why it was nominated for the Tony for Best Musical. When I was coming back to revisit this, I thought that this one was going to be the more forgetful one in terms of context of each of the 5 Broadway musicals that performed, like, of course, Elf, Nice Work If You Get It, that had Matthew Broderick and Kelli O'Hara, Annie, and of course Cinderella. Then came in this revisit, and it's an extremely underrated number. A very upbeat finale that's just the meaning of celebration, if I'm correct. So many pop culture references, which I can see why NBC might have chose this one because of Pokemon and Sesame Street being mentioned. Also a PG-13 word, which changed from white bee to white girl for the parade. Also, there are some notable stars that I didn't even know they were in this when I was revisiting this. The star of the musical, Taylor Lautner, would later be the star of the Broadway musical of Mean Girls, and the actress who would later become in the 2018 parade in the musical Summer, the Donna Summer musical, who was the one who sang first in the I Got You number, she would become an Oscar winner for her performance as Anita in Steven Spielberg's film adaptation of West Side Story, Ariana DeBose. Yeah, I never knew she was in this. I know she was in Summer, but not Bring It On, thinking that this was going to be at the bottom of this list. But if you make it not also the best Broadway performance, and this 2011 song being the best of 2012, that's saying something. Thank you guys for watching. If you're new to the channel, you can hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and comment down below your personal ranking on these 26 songs. Whew! Great to have the series back after a break for the month of August and the first half of this month of September. Next time we go into an end of a long-time composer era and the return of High Winds with 2013.